Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We want to start today on the 4-hour chart just to take a look at the bigger picture again. I think it's always important to keep that in mind to understand, okay, where are we actually coming from? The idea is still that of the November low, we rallied in a wave 1 in a 5-wave move, and that we came back in a 3-wave move in a wave 2. So basically a 1-2 setup. At this point, I said, look, this is the important long-term support level. You will remember that if you've been watching or if you were watching the videos at the time. We said, look, we have 5 waves up. Okay, this is the first confirmation that we are getting back into a possible bull run or a much extended bear market rally. If we hold this support area, we have the second confirmation, and this will be a very, very relevant support area and could be the last time to get Bitcoin at these prices. We dipped into it and then rallied quite aggressively. Yeah? This was expected because this was the long-term support area that could set us up for higher into the 30 to 40k region. You will remember it, we talked about it. Then we moved up quite aggressively, didn't have any setbacks. I did expect a bit of a deeper setback on the way up, but then again, we need to understand that. And I made it so clear last week, and I hope the message got through, but I guess it didn't sink into everybody. In a third wave, if this really is a third wave rally, yeah, highlighted here in green, then setbacks will be shallow and extensions will happen, which means waiting for a deep pullback can mean that you have to wait a long time. It is what it is in a third wave, yeah, it is what it is, but that's also why we had here these long-term or medium-term support areas. We had here the next one. So when we then peaked here in April, before I had the wave 1 here, we can have a debate where the wave 1 does sit, but it doesn't really make a difference. Formulated this support area, this FIB support area, again for another wave 2 pullback. Also for people who missed an entry here, had the possibility obviously to set some buy orders here, and it did rally when it touched it. Yeah, it didn't only touch it, it actually came into it. I think we had a couple of days to do what we wanted to do, and then price is now rallying, and this has worked out, I think, pretty much flawlessly. You will remember it when we were on the way down. We expected lower, and then here I said on the 14th or 15th of June, I think on the 14th, I said, look, one more tiny low, which happened, and we could be either rallying in a larger corrective wave, or it could already be the end of this wave 2 correction, which it then was, probably as far as we can see now, and we're now moving up in a third wave. The market disregarded again all the news. Yeah, I did explain it a few times last week again, that in the wave 2, because a lot of people panicked again, right? A lot of people panicked because of the SEC, cryptos as securities. I mean, it's the right decision not to talk too much about that stuff on this channel, because it's all new stuff, which, you know, comes and goes. You know, it's all based on sentiment, where we had all the idea, or, you know, that all the negative news around the banks around the 10th of March, yeah, end of February, early March. Also here, I said to you, all the negative news come towards the end of a wave 2, and price did rally after that. Here again, yeah, all the negative news come towards the end of the wave 2. Cryptos as securities, Binance suit, Coinbase suit, and so on. It was pretty obvious again. We talk about that a lot in the membership, and yeah, market did rally again. So it's going to be interesting now. We have bullish volume as well now. That's what a lot of people want to see. And we have that. I think the rally is currently carried by volume. I'm not sure, I didn't double check it, but I did read that a lot of the volume comes from spot. I need to double check that. Maybe you can comment. I'm not sure if that's true. Apparently there is a lot of spot volume these days, so that would be quite good, because that is second, this is the leather chair if you're wondering. There has always been the concern that a lot of people are not, that it's not spot volume, but I think spot volume is now coming in. But I will double check that, which would be positive if it's actually based on actual BTC. And yeah, price did rally now above all the resistances, and I'm tracking now this bullish scenario as long as the support levels are holding. And we could now be in the third wave, and target for the third wave would be at least the 1.618 extension, which would be 40k, I think. Now, I'm not telling you we will definitely get there. Yeah, this depends on a few conditions. What needs to happen is that price needs to develop the structure in a 5-wave move to the upside. If we see at any point only 3 waves, it can always break down. That's why we track the support level. Yeah? Here, 1.618 extension would be the minimum target for the third wave. We talk here about 40k, possibly higher, but it may not be easy. It may be a rocky road. So let's see how that all turns out. If we now zoom in, we're tracking the bullish case at the moment. Alternatively, this could be a B wave. This would be really cheeky. Yeah, this would be really annoying if this was a B wave, because it could be that the move down was just an A wave. This here is a B wave in 3 waves so far, and we come down in C. However, this B wave doesn't really look corrective. It looks quite impulsive. Okay, so that means I'm leaning towards the white count. I'm leaning towards breakout, especially as all the Fibonacci extension targets have been reached so far, and we've been holding support. If this was a bit of a choppy move, which it at the moment isn't, then I would say, okay, it might really be a B wave. But at the moment, it's a fairly impulsive move. So I'm leaning towards the white count. But of course, as soon as support breaks, warning signs will have to be put up. And it could just be a B wave top and we come down once more in a C wave. That would still not change the higher level, higher degree scenario. Could just be that we have to reset wave 2 a little lower. Bitcoin still has space in this support area. Okay, so just I added that because there always needs to be a bearish scenario for risk management purposes, for consideration as well, and for a more balanced analysis. But I'm telling you what I'm leaning to at the moment. Now, the count I'm leaning to doesn't really help you much because it's subjective. Okay, that's what many people don't understand. If I tell you I'm leaning towards this count, I expect this to happen. This is purely subjective, and that is not what the market needs to do. The market doesn't care about my opinion. It doesn't at all. Yeah, it could be the most beautiful Elliott Wave count, and the market might still do the opposite. What is the value of this analysis are the support areas, the higher level assumptions, the pivot points that are revealed, because they are objective. They allow you to measure your risk. That's objective, and that is what many people don't get, because they always, oh, you know, it's up or down, whatever. But that is not the point. The point is, and that is what traders will understand, the pivot point. How is my risk looking? Where does my risk sit? Okay, so, and where do probabilities shift from a more bullish to a more bearish scenario? And we talk about that now. So first of all, if we go to the 1 hour chart, we can see that we rallied in 3 waves to the upside. Bitcoin reached the 200% extension, reached basically the 31K level. Important breakout point here, 31.2K, 31.1K, the April high. If we get above that, I think we are, it's go time. I think then, you know, obviously we're finally doing a new high in this region. Obviously we've been bullish for months now overall, yeah. Fairly bullish setup that we've been talking about here. I've said repeatedly that I'm not focusing on a bearish count until bullish support is breaking, which was so far the right decision. Looking at the move to the upside here, ideally we get one more high. If this really is an impulse to the upside, we need to hold 28.7K. I did issue a bit of a warning yesterday that I cannot clearly say that this is an impulse. It might also be a diagonal. If this is a diagonal, and I don't want to go into the academic side of it too much, I don't want to confuse you. But what you need to understand, if wave 1 sits here, which it can in an ABC structure, then if we break 28.7K, it might just come down a little lower. And I'm going to give you the support area right now, because that is the area where it will probably shift bearish. If price breaks below 26K, it will be bearish, most likely, because then we have to emphasize that this was probably a B wave. So that tells you a lot about the risk at the moment. While there is micro support or immediate support for the wave 4 here, it could be that it's still a bullish scenario just in a diagonal if price breaks a little below that, and could then still find support between 27.8K and 26K. Below 26K, we have to expect new lows that would go below 24.5K as well. Okay, so 2 bullish scenarios here, depending on how it's playing out. But I'm naturally leaning towards the impulsive structure, which ideally is holding 28.7K. Just be aware, there is a fallback scenario, yeah. And then after we have 5 waves up, we should get that deeper pullback in a wave 2. Still though, because if it is true that we are in a higher degree 3rd wave, I know people have the tendency to try to sell here and buy back here. This may not be as easy in a 3rd wave, because extensions will happen, yeah, and pullbacks will be shallow. Okay, that's the same. You know, people always make that mistake. You need to understand that we are likely in a 3rd wave, and if we are in a 3rd wave, pullbacks may be shallow. There's never a guarantee, but you need to consider that in your decisions. Also here, yeah, I think I did say that, you know, we had 5 waves possibly up. We can expect a pullback at any time, but we had no indication it had started, right? So some people took that and said, okay, where's the deep pullback? Now, I didn't say the pullback has started. Yeah, I said the pullback can happen at any time, but be aware that as long as we're holding the trend line, which I've modified since then a bit, as long as we're holding the trend line, which we did, price can always extend higher because we're in a third wave, right? And that's the sentence that many people miss. That's also what many people miss, that we are in a third wave and pullbacks may be shallow. Just be aware of that. In a third wave, things can be quite aggressive. And in a third wave, the mindset needs to be, and we're in the early stages possibly of a third wave. Again, condition is that support levels are holding, but in a third wave, the mindset needs to be that pullbacks are shallow and extensions will happen. Price can rally more than you would initially anticipate. Okay, that is what you need to understand in a third wave, especially in a third of a third wave here. Yeah, and that it will be very interesting. I'll keep you updated. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. If you're interested in more updates, more frequent updates, check out our gold membership. There are signals at the moment, like every hour, not only about Bitcoin, but other coins as well. Try to update you as often as possible. There's additional stuff, additional content. So check that out if you're interested. And besides that, have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.